Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie loving maniacs? This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and today I'm going to talk about the animated and live action version of The Jungle Book because it is the 10th anniversary of the 2016 movie. But before I revisit that, I wanted to rewatch the animated version. And now that I've rewatched both versions, I just wanted to talk about how both of them are different, the same, and just how unique they are in their own little way. Because I do think that the live action Jungle Book is the best of these live action Disney remakes. That may be a hot take to few, but I do think it is true. But I just wanted to talk about how different both these films are and what they do and the legacies that both films have. Now, just because I think that the live action Jungle Book is the best of these live action remakes, and dare I say, better than the original animated version, but that doesn't mean I think of the animated version any less. I mean, the original animated movie, it is my favorite pre-Renaissance era Disney movie. It's my favorite of the more older Disney films. I just love this movie so much. I used to watch it on VHS all the time. To me, it is a quintessential comfort movie. It's that movie that I can just put in at any given moment and just walk away feeling good and just having fun. I love the music, the characters, and the journey that Mowgli goes on in this movie. Now, granted, some people have said that this version of the Jungle Book is not entirely true to Rudyard Kipling's original Jungle Book novel, and they're not wrong. And plot wise, this movie is not even the best in terms of Disney movies, but it's fun because this movie is all about just hanging out with Mowgli and the animals trying to get him back to the man village before Shere Khan finds him and kills him. So the movie is basically taking Mowgli back to the man village with a couple of side quests. But the live action version to me does have merit and is better than the original animated version in my opinion because it kind of fleshes out the story. It's a little bit more truer to the original novel, and I know some people were a bit put off because of how it doesn't entirely follow the original animated movie right down to the ending, which I'll get into in a little bit. But however you feel about this version of the Jungle Book, you must respect the visual effects within this movie. Like there's almost nothing. The only thing that's really live action about this movie is the young actor at the time playing Mowgli. Everything else, from the jungles to the animals, that is all CG. And I remember back in 2016, that was just really impressive. And it is directed by Jon Favreau. In fact, it's because of this movie he got the gig of making the live action Lion King, and frankly, this is a worse movie than the Jungle Book movie that he did, but I digress. Now, just because I think this is a better movie than the animated movie does not mean that this movie doesn't have its faults. Like the beginning, how it just starts out with Mowgli already grown up and basically learning how to hunt, versus the original animated movie where it starts out with him already as a baby. Bagheera finds him and takes him to the wolves to be raised. There's less emphasis on music in this movie than the original animated movie, though you do get two songs, but one of them, the main song, The Bare Necessity, I feel like that was organically woven into the movie, which I thought was done because it's just Mowgli and Baloo just hanging out, singing to each other. But then later on, King Louie, which I'll get more into a little bit, he just starts singing it like a music number out of nowhere, which for nostalgic reasons, I do like it, and it's just fun watching Christopher Walken sing that song, but also it is a bit jarring. Now, let's talk about some of the characters and compare some of the characters, like Baloo the Bear, for instance. In the original animated version, voiced by Phil Harris, who has voiced many Disney characters after this movie, but in the live action version, he is voiced by Bill Murray, which I guess kind of worked and in theory should work, but in the actual movie, it just felt like Bill Murray just voicing a bear. So in this instance, I kind of prefer the original animated version. Bagheera the Panther, I thought both versions worked in their own way. I thought the animated version worked in the animated movie because he's stern but also likable, and he has a job and he is locked in. He's just trying to get Mowgli to the man village. And you can say the same thing about Ben Kingsley's versions, but this one he's a little bit more older and seasoned, and I don't know why. I just find it comforting to hear Ben Kingsley voice a panther in this movie. It just works. Mowgli, in the animated version, he's a bit of a brat versus Mowgli in this movie. I can't quite describe it, but it just works for that version of the movie. And like I said, he's the only real thing in the live action version. Now, outside of the three main characters, are where we get the biggest differences with some of the other characters. Like Ka in the animated version, he's voiced by the actor that plays the voice of Winnie the Pooh. In this version, he's just a little creepy snake that hypnotizes people. And in the live action version, a gender swap that I thought in a way kind of worked, but at the same time kind of doesn't. Because in one way, looking back on it now, I can kind of understand like, hey, they don't want to creep the kids out by having a creepy man voice, a creepy snake, so they just kind of wanted a gender swap to make it less creepy. But then again, it's still a little bit creepy. But regardless, Scarlett Johansson voicing a creepy snake under better circumstances, I'm not complaining. Plus, another gripe I have with Scarlett Johansson's version is that she's only in the movie like one time in the movie, versus in the animated movie we saw him at least twice. And his song the song "Trust in Me" it doesn't even appear until the end credits of the live action version. King Louie, one of my favorite parts in the animated version. King Louie in this movie, I thought was a bit inspired, and it's gonna make or break for you because, like I said, the live action movie is not really a musical, but he does get the only music number in the movie, and it kind of feels out of place and jarring. But like I say, it is just fun watching Christopher Walken perform this song. Now, don't try to kid me, man cub. And plus, in this movie, he was in the animated movie, he was an orangutan, but in this movie, he's a Gigantopithecus, which I've never heard of before, to be honest. But I just think of him as a giant-ass monkey. Now for Shere Khan. In Shere Khan in the animated movie, he was threatening, but he was a bit charming and elegant. Like, I just like how before he attacks Mowgli, he's like, "Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to close my eyes and count to 10. It makes the chase more interesting for me." But Shere Khan, voiced by Idris Elba in the live-action movie, better in my opinion. Like, he's just more threatening, more menacing. He's bloodthirsty. He doesn't care. Even if you take Mowgli back to the man village, even if he's out the jungle, he doesn't care. He has a vendetta against this child, and it's one of my favorite voice acting performances from Idris Elba, in my opinion. Whichever version of the Jungle Book you like, they both are good in their own little way. If you want something that's just a little bit more accessible and fun and comforting, you got the animated version. But if you want something that, dare I say, is just a little bit more mature and grounded and more fleshed out, you got the live action version. And however you feel about the live action version, I think we can all agree it's still the better of these Disney live action remakes. As most of you already know, the original animated version gets the hard eyes emoji. The live action version from 10 years ago also gets the hard eyes emoji. Thank y'all so much for watching, and have you seen the live action Jungle Book? If so, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and also let me know which version you like more, the live action version or the original animated movie. This your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.